Hey y'all, what's going on? This is J Marie Booklet. So today I am making a quick video about working in the BMT unit. So I got a viewer request about some tips regarding working in the BMT unit. So a BMT unit is a blood or bone marrow transplant unit. So basically you will have patients who have leukemia, sickle cell anemia, Hodgkin's disease. Is Hodgkin's is non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I want to say that's what it is. Hold on, let me look because it was a whole bunch. I googled it, and basically it's the people who have those. Basically, it's a blood disease, so like blood cancer. Like sickle cell anemia is a cancer of the blood. Leukemia is one of them. My cousin had sickle cell anemia, and so she went through a lot. She went through a lot in her life. So it's basically blood cancer, maybe bone cancer. So the patients usually have oncologists or hematologists. So um, we didn't have that kind of unit at the hospital. We don't have that kind of unit. We have an oncology unit, and that's for people who have cancer, but they have cancer wherever. Cancer is cancer, but they had cancer whatever. So they were getting chemo. They were getting they were getting radiation, things like that. But we didn't have like a transplant unit. We didn't have that. Now, the bigger hospitals like Jackson down in Miami, down that area, they may have it. I wouldn't be surprised if one, because we got two trauma hospitals here in this county. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe Broward may have, because Broward is a trauma hospital. So they may have it. But I would kind of suspect it would be more down in Miami, because Miami just have a lot of those types of hospitals down there. Because like when we would send the babies out for procedures, like they would get transferred depending on what they had going on from like the NICU, PICU, or pediatrics. They would go down to the children's hospital down in Miami, because we would have the helicopter transport them down there. So I don't think there's anything really up here. Like I know like I said, we got two trauma hospitals, but I don't think they really do anything like that up here. I think it's mainly down in Jackson. I'm sorry, down in Miami. So that's probably because I was like, where would they even possibly do that around here? So I think it's down in Jackson. Why are you saying Jackson? Miami. So, but she wanted some tips on, she'll be starting the job next month, and she just wanted some tips on, what to expect. So that type of unit, just from what you will be seeing, is more than likely, it sounds like it's going to be a smaller unit. So you will, well, let me phrase it before I go there. That's my second. The first is you need to show compassion to not only the patients, but also the family. Because I don't know if it'll be, if it's a children's hospital. She did put it in the comment what hospital she working at. I could have looked it up. But I forgot. But, if it's children, you got children with sickle cell anemia, leukemia, things like that. If it's just a regular hospital, you'll have mainly adult patients. That will be different, because 9 times out of 10, like some of it, the people have been living with their whole life, and then some of it they developed. So you're going to have two types of patients. So if they got leukemia, they more likely had it their whole life. Sickle cell anemia their whole life, whereas someone may have developed another disease later on in life. So the person who's had it longer may be more used to it, like get ready to go and get a transplant. They've been thinking about this, living with this longer. They're still going to have the same issues, concerns, things like that. But someone who's been living with something for a long time may handle it a little better than someone who was recently diagnosed. Do you understand? And then having to find their donor, because you will have patients that have been on the donors list. Do you understand? So, because to get a bone marrow, you need a donor, if I understand correctly. So the first thing you need to do is just be compassionate. Just understand that there are a lot of emotions going on. These people about to go have a life-changing procedure, and you just need to be compassionate. The second thing I would say to you is that the unit is going to be smaller. So you're going to have, the same nurses every day. You're going to have the same doctors. So when I came from the main floor to the ICU, the main floor is all the doctors. It's a main floor. So you have all the doctors, the internal, the specialist, you have all the doctors. But then when I went to the ICU, I had specialist doctors. And so, the internal doctors, they did come over, but mainly it was the specialist doctors. So like I said, I did call. I think it helped me that I came from the main floor to the ICU. I think that helped me out a lot because I knew the doctors. And then some doctors I didn't know, like I kind of knew them because I would see them every now and then on the med surg, but not really. So you will be a tighter knit nursing unit staff. You would depend on each other more. Like I said, I always talk about the nurses because they was messy, but they did their job. They took care of their patients. It was professional. It was just with each other. They was messy, but they were professional. They took care of the patient. I had no concerns about any of them. Even the ones I couldn't stand, I would never say they were a bad nurse because you had to rely on each other. So, with everyone relying on each other to make sure that the patient gets better so they can go home, that's all you had. So you're more than likely going to be a tighter knit unit. You're not going to have too many people in and out. You basically going to be like what I did. Okay? These people just had surgery, just had transplant. It's everybody ain't going to be wandering up in there like a med surge or ortho floor. It's gonna be a totally different beast. Basically, you're gonna be me. That's what you're gonna be. You're gonna be me. The third thing is you will be the go-to person. I was reading some of the descriptions, and people may have to make appointments with you, like to get on the schedule the procedure. They might have to go through you to make the appointment, schedule the appointment with the doctor, getting on the unit. Just you are going to be the point person. And then the last thing I wanted to let you know, and if you notice the change in the background, it's daytime. If y'all knew the changes I went through to make this video. So the last thing I wanted you all to focus on is that you will be the go-to person of your unit. So the first is you're going to be compassionate. Because you have patients who are going through, having surgery, transplant. That's a whole different beast. Because in order to have a transplant, it's when a person is having surgery, there are questions that are asked. But when a person is having a transplant, that's different. That is totally different. Like a surgery, me personally, just understand that a surgery and a transplant are two different things. Okay, like a kidney, like somebody having a kidney transplant, that's a whole different beast. Same thing if a person is an organ donor. Like, it's not, if you're taking the organ out of a person who is deceased, it's a lot that goes into it. It's just not surgery. Like I made a video talking about when a person dies, and organ donation and things like that. It's different. So surgery and a transplant are two different things. So, and then plus surgery is just surgery, whereas transplant you gotta have a donor. So it's just a different beast. So you need to be compassionate. The second thing is it's a much tighter unit, more niche down, and then the third is you will be the go-to person for the unit. Like I said, I was reading about how some of the unit secretaries, they schedule the surgeries, like, because you can't have all these surgeries on the same day, right? It just ain't gonna pop up. You do understand? Doctors, they have their schedule. You gotta look at it. It's just a lot that goes on. So you will be the go-to person for that unit. So get ready for that. Get ready for the calls. Get ready for the families. Get ready. You are the front line. So, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, you can always put them down below. Like I said, I think the BMT is the bone marrow transplant unit, blood bone marrow transplant. It's just a lot that goes on. That was interesting. That question in that unit, that really made me think, because that made me really do a lot of research. I couldn't go off the top of my head. I had to do some research on that, and I'm glad that you did ask that question. And congratulations on starting the job next month. I know you'll be great. You watching my video, so but just understand that you will be the go-to person. I want you to understand that, like, you will be that person. So of course you're gonna have to be on top of your job, and I believe that you will. And if you have any questions, you can put them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on my blog. It's J. Marie Booklist. That's where I talk about being a unit coordinator. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.